Hello my darlings, Emma here from Timeless Cookery, and I just wanted to fill you in on a few things about trauma and trauma release. There's a lot of trauma out there at the moment. We're all a bit in fight or flight most of the time because of the craziness that's going on out there, unless you've really taken it upon yourself to stay calm, meditate every day, get grounded every day, eat the right foods every day, and be peaceful and actually point your mind where you want it to go rather than where the mass media want it to go. So I wanted to tell you about this amazing lady called Eileen Day McCusick, and music is in her name, and she does the most amazing tuning fork retuning of your aura. It sounds crazy, but I heard her talking on this beautiful podcast called The Higher Side Chats, which I highly recommend. So Eileen Day McCusick of Biofield Tuning was talking about how the whole point of healing is just to bring people into the now, because we all need to just be kind of showing up, I'm quoting her now, in complete totality, and in a sort of relaxed, contented and grateful state, with nowhere to go and nothing to do and nothing to fix and no axe to grind and no ants in your pants and no kerfuffle or drama around it, just being and being groovy, which is no mean feat these days, is it? It's difficult to just show up and be present. If you can do that, then you can get aligned with timeless truths. But how do we sort of eliminate the subconscious self-saboteur that is within a lot of us, because it's kind of been bred into us through a long lineage, ancestral trauma. When you think that, my grandparents were in the wartime and their grandparents were in wartime, and there's a legacy of trauma to clear. So how can we grasp, how can we get to grips with these traumas? Because all we want to do really is just show up in the here and now and feel great, isn't it? So, and how can we really digest things properly if we've still got fragmented, undigested trauma and emotion within us? We won't ever be able to actually digest our food properly because we'll be slightly in fight or flight all the time. And let's face it, there is no digesting your food if you are in fight or flight. You've got to be in a peaceful, restful, rest and digest state to get your food to digest properly. So I really want to share with you an awesome thing called tapping. You've probably heard of it. It's called EFT, emotional freedom technique they call it. What you're doing is you're reprogramming your grooves, the habits you've got into with your emotional reactions to things. So something will give you a reaction, something will give you a rise, someone will upset you, someone will annoy you somehow. They're like a mirror, holding up a mirror to you. And it's great when we get those feelings come up, because actually we can use them and we can say, oh, thanks body for giving me that little message there, right? We don't have to feel the anger, let it come up upon us, let it grab hold of us, let it make us ugly and horrible, and then project the anger back at somebody who made us angry. No, we don't need to do that. We can just feel the feeling as it rises and then take a deep breath, excuse ourselves and go into the other room or into the toilet or into your car or whatever it is, wherever it is. And we can start the process of healing using tapping. So you can go to thetappingsolution.com and see a beautiful American geezer with big white teeth telling you all about tapping, or I can just run you through it really quickly. It takes about a minute. So for instance, well, I'm going to tell you something that traumatized me once, and that is that one time I was struggling with one of my children who was a bit of a sugar monster at the time, and she just wanted the sugar so bad that she was like an addict, literally, and she was scratching me and biting my legs and kind of screaming and hysterical, really. And she grabbed hold of my leg and was all, and I didn't know what to do. And I sort of released her from my leg quite violently. That sounds terrible. And she sort of flew across the hall. And then I ran away in my bedroom and shut the door. And, I was really ashamed of myself and I felt terrible. I was like, what kind of parent am I to treat a child like that. I was so ashamed of myself, but she was like a crazy banshee. That's no excuse still. I didn't know what to do at the time because I wasn't well, she wasn't well, we didn't know about gaps at that point. So we were struggling. But what I did know about was tapping. So I said to myself, in my floods of tears, even though I just kicked my daughter down the corridor, I didn't literally boot her, it's just she was attached to my leg and I swung my leg and she flew off it. Anyway, even though I kicked my daughter down the corridor, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I just kicked my daughter down the hall, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I just kicked my daughter, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Then you do this point here on your eyebrow, this point of your eyebrow. Even though, and you can say anything here, even though I'm not well, I'm not digesting my food, or even though I feel sick when I eat, or even though I can't control my anger, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Then this point, even though whatever it is, even though I've got unbelievably itchy skin, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Take some nice deep breaths between these. Then you go under the eye. So you've made a triangle from here to here to here. You've made you've made a triangle. Even though I just kicked my daughter down the corridor, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And here under the nose, even though I am at my wit's end and I can't cope, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I'm feeling completely overwhelmed, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. You're supposed to say the same thing from this whole process. You're supposed to say the same thing. I keep on changing it because I'm just giving you ideas of what you might be trying to cope with in your lives, you know. So yeah, from after the nose, you go on the chin here. Even though I'm overwhelmed, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Then you're here. This is a great one. This is like beating your chest, you know, but it feels so great. These are acupressure points, yeah? So these are kind of reprogramming your nervous system somehow. As you're acknowledging the feelings, the uncomfortable feelings and possible inadequacies that you see within yourself, you're acknowledging them and saying, I love and accept myself anyway. So even though I feel overwhelmed, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. I used to get quite violent, not violent, but I mean, it just felt so good to do that. It really sort of released a lot of stuff for me. Then you go underneath your arms here on your rib cage. Even though I feel overwhelmed, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And you're going to be surprised sometimes at how hard it is to say that. I love and accept myself. And then you come here on the top of your head. My glasses in the way. Even though I feel overwhelmed, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. That's it. That's it. That's the cycle of the tapping thing. It takes literally about a minute, and it diffuses these negative emotions. We're not squashing the emotions. We're acknowledging the emotions and going, even though I have that feeling and that emotion, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. So we're not sinking into that emotion and dwelling in that emotion. And then, you know, reflecting it back at someone else. And then, you know, where does the cycle stop? We're actually sitting with it, dealing with it ourselves. No one else has to get involved. Don't need to upset anyone else. You can just deal with it yourself. And I've often found when I've sat there tapping that other things have come up. And, you know, I've been, you know, in floods and, you know, really upset about things. But actually kind of bashing it out with myself and feeling free afterwards. I think that's what they call it, emotional freedom technique. So I can highly recommend that. So go to the Tapping Solution if you want to have a look. And if you would like to learn anything about food as medicine, which is my total speciality, then check out timelesscookery.com, because we've been having such fun this summer. We've had a GAPS retreat in Normandy. We've had a GAPS Get Going with GAPS group program online with a lovely group. And every week I do live cookery school, and then through the week people put it into practice and post me their pictures and ask all the questions, and we have a lot of fun. It's really good. The next course is starting on the 4th of October. If anyone wants to join in, go to timelesscookery.com. And you can check in there and look at all the other options that we've got. We're also going to be doing week-long GAPS intensives here in Normandy. Once a month we're going to have a week of GAPS intensives where I invite you to Normandy to spend a whole week immersing yourself in all the GAPS cookery techniques, and I'll be feeding you and also running through your issues. So you'll effectively be getting me for 5 solid days of consultations, but it's more than that. It's a relaxing retreat and a healing time where we are doing things a bit like, you know, the tapping and all of that jazz. So go to timelesscookery.com. Take care, guys. Lots of love, and don't forget to rest and digest, as Eileen Day McCusick suggests, so that we can, you know, really become who we're supposed to be and live in full good intention. Bye, guys. Hi, Joy. Oh, bye. Hi, Steph. Bye. Bye-bye, darlings. See you soon.